things and stuff and stuff and things. Hey guys, happy Easter.
Oh, it's Easter.
It's Easter, but you can't go to church.
You're not allowed to celebrate Easter because you don't have rights today.
Apparently, cannabis is more essential than religion right now. How do you like that? What's up, y'all? Day 12 of 420 and also Easter. So happy Easter to those of you who would like to be at church right now. But the government says no, which I thought we fought a whole war.
Yeah, I remember there being a war about religious rights and limiting government. I guess it doesn't matter when you get scared, though.
It was a thing. It was a thing. But here we are, and we don't have to be lonely thanks to the wonders of technology. Oh, hey, look, Richard Nuevo's watching.
Hey, Richard.
That guy's pretty cool.
Richard Nuevo.
Nuevo. So bear with me a moment while I shamelessly share my video all over the interwebs, which you guys could totally help me out doing. We're going to talk about...
Hit the share button.
The share button. What are we talking about today? We're going to go over some headlines. We're going to... talk about the awesome news that just came out of Virginia late last night. Did you hear about that?
Maybe. What news?
News about cannabis.
Cannabis news out of Virginia?
News out of Virginia that's not letting you, drive around the country or drive around its own state right now, but good news there. And what was the other thing? Oh, abstinence versus harm reduction. So that should be fun. I don't know. You came from the DARE era too,
Yeah, drugs are really expensive.
They are.
DARE.
It's the regulations. No, but the DARE generation got taught that you shouldn't even touch drugs and they're bad, and you're going to grow horns and a tail if you come anywhere near the marijuanas. And that just didn't work out, right?
I don't know. My horns grew pretty good on that weed.
Tail too?
I'm working on it. Working on the tail. We could use your help because we're running low on weed. And if you send weed or money, if you got 5 on it, we might actually be able to grow a tail.
I have some cool gifts for anybody who wants to contribute too. But we'll shamelessly plug that later on. Let me hit a couple more groups in here while everybody tunes in. Is this okay for the COVID-19 dank meme stash, or this would violate community standards, right?
Well, I feel like the admins won't care.
The admins are pretty cool in that group. I heard a rumor. Let's share this definitely in the Civilian Platoon 420 group. Boom! Which is backwards right now as well as my shirt. But if you tune in on YouTube and subscribe, youtube.com/GIMaryJane, pretty simple. You can see it in the reverse.
JEE.
GEERENLQ7 purple.com.
Richard Nuevo said, I sent some. That was him. Thank you, Richard.
Oh, Richard.
Appreciate your donation.
Wait, what is Richard Nuevo short? Oh.
Dick?
Oh, that's clever.
Dick.
That's clever, Richard. And as always, we'll be checking your comments on the old Freedom Hotline here, which is also backwards.
Jeff Mackey, who is a friend of mine, says, Zig, let's see the haircut.
Oh, yeah, we did Corona Apocalypse self-haircuts.
Well, yeah, I went from looking like a hippie to looking like a hippie with short hair. So I think I'm doing all right.
Let's see it. Oh! And all the planes start crashing in the distance.
Now I don't have to get a haircut for like a year at least.
That's
maybe
incredible.
A year and a half.
That's incredible. I saw a couple different posts today of people who are finally sick of not being able to get their hair cut because somehow that's not an essential industry either. It's cute. I feel like everybody's gonna be forced into this bald head thing, but I'm okay with it. It's what all the movies say.
Hey, it's not bald. I got hair up there.
You got hair up there, and we always have hair right here.
Well, yeah. Not always.
Not always.
Some people shave off their eyebrows and then Sharpie them on.
I've seen that, but my entire life, like as a kid, I looked at Whoopi Goldberg weird, and I always I cocked my head, and I'm like, why does this woman's face look so weird to me? Do you know why?
Does she have eyebrows?
She has no eyebrows.
I'll be damned.
She just walks around with no eyebrows whatsoever.
So we tricked a kid in high school to nair his own eyebrows, and you would be surprised how different you look without eyebrows. And he had to walk around like that for like a month until they grew back.
Dude, I cut the whiskers off of my cat when I was a kid, and I found out that cat, I know, don't tell PETA, man, I was 3, I'm sorry, I had no idea, I was playing beauty salon, and, I mean, what else would you cut on a cat at 3 years old but whiskers? And I found out that cat whiskers, in fact, do not grow back. So this poor cat walked around its entire life, and it lived till I was about 18 years old. They don't grow
back? I didn't know that.
They don't grow back, and they actually help the cat figure out, like,
where it can fit.
Yeah. So this cat got
stuck everywhere.
Stuck everywhere and would fall down, and I shouldn't even be laughing. I'm sorry, PETA. Sorry, PETA.
It's much funnier to put tape on their feet.
Oh, that is hilarious. Is that abuse?
Probably.
Probably so. I guess that's relative to who you ask. You want to smoke some weed before we talk about serious things?
No. Weed's the devil.
That stuff's bad for you.
Okay, let's do it.
You should just...
When you put it that way.
You should just say no to drugs, or... Hold on. Just say perhaps.
Maybe.
To drugs. Perhaps.
We'll see how you do.
We'll see how you do. Which brings us to this whole abstinence versus harm reduction thing. Like, I don't know. I don't know if anybody's watching is a parent, or if you remember being a kid through the 80s and 90s and sitting in those programs that told you that if you smoked weed, it was going to make you crazy and make you start killing your neighbors and hurting your animals and doing all sorts of stuff. And then what happened? Then you get out at some point, like 13, 14, and you're presented with weed, because you're going to come across these things.
Gateway drug.
The gateway drug. You've probably already drank alcohol by this point, but that's not a gateway. I guess that doesn't count as a first step. But when you get approached with weed for the first time, and you realize that no, none of your friends have died from weed, and none of your friends' friends have died from weed, and then when you try weed,
you don't die.
You don't die or become violent, and quite the opposite, you become calm and docile. Doesn't that, like, make you think, well, were they lying to me about the heroin and the fentanyl and the meth? Like, that stuff must not be bad either if they lied to me about this weed. That's bad news, right?
I feel like the gateway drug is trauma. Honestly, if you're asking me, I think the gateway drug is trauma. But not everyone who's experienced trauma does drugs, and not everyone who does drugs has experienced trauma. But I feel like that is probably one of the leading causes of us needing to discuss harm reduction versus abstinence.
Yeah. Oh, whoa. Pause, because there's a challenge on here from Jeff Mackey.
Uh-oh.
Holy crap. Mac, we're gonna, because that's, I like
we call him Mac.
Mac says, if people donate today, we can shave a mohawk on his head tomorrow live.
So, if you want to see Mac get a mohawk, I've actually seen him with a mohawk.
Really?
Yeah, he does a thing. But he doesn't have one now because, hair grows. I don't know if you knew that.
It
grows.
Not whiskers.
So, yeah, if you want to donate to us, we will shave his head into a mohawk.
All the links are right there in the comments. You guys, every $5 helps. We are down to...
That is what we got.
This is the weed.
That's what we got. We're going to have to choose abstinence, whether we like it or not.
Whether we like it or not.
And we don't like it.
We don't.
That's a not.
We don't. Not at all. Don Leo says gateway drug. Haha, never believed that crap. No, and nobody does. Which, like I said, once you're a kid and you find out that the adults are lying to you, you assume that they're lying about everything else, right? So it's just bad news, I feel like. And there's a lot of colleges, I know. I don't know about high schools yet, but I know that Colorado Springs University has a special class for harm reduction. And they talk about psychedelics a lot, because that's becoming, a big area of interest in the medical community. And they don't teach these kids to stay away from these things. Because when you're approached by these things, you need to know, okay, well, what could it do to me that's good? What could it do to me that's bad? And then, this one's great, you make your own educated decision, your own choice.
Isn't that called consent?
You consent to whether or not you want to do these things without the fear or, with the actual knowledge of
what it'll do to you.
What it'll do to you. Not just a bunch of BS. So I've got to shameless shout out to Anthony Caballero, who I interviewed on the War Room about 2 months ago, I think. And he works directly with the Psychedelic Club of Colorado Springs and helps teach this harm reduction in college classes. So those guys are awesome. Do you want to do the honors today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last green hit of the day.
I know, man.
The rest are going to go to you.
Aww. Don Leo says everyone has a vice or two. You're right, Don. I mean, if I had to, what's my biggest vice? I'd say coffee.
Yeah, mine's the sugar in the coffee.
Yeah, man, he puts a lot of sugar.
I like my coffee to be like my women, like kind of dark with a whole bunch of white powder in them.
Wait, what kind of white powder? Sugar.
Make it sweet.
Sugar. What are we smoking on today? We don't even know what we're smoking on today.
Yeah, that was given to us by one of our community members to help hold us over until we can get, our own, which if y'all want to help with that, we'd love it. Richard already did. Zag wants to say hi to everyone. Say hi, Zag. Fine, don't say hi.
Wave.
Okay, wave. I'm waving for you.
We got the cutest picture of Zag passed out right next to the bowl. It was adorable. Don't ever do that, by the way. Your animals cannot consent to getting high. Please stop blowing hits in their faces. If you want to blow it towards them and let them turn their little snoots in there, by all means.
I've always heard the argument that the dog likes it because when you spark the lighter or grab the bag, they run over to you. But I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that you're giving the animal attention that they enjoy. I don't know. Maybe they like it. Maybe they don't. Maybe they don't know that it's the cannabis that's making them feel all weird. So I don't get my dog high because she can't consent to it. She can't tell me, yes, I like that. However, she has gotten high before when I wasn't looking because she's eaten my weed. One time she ate a half gram of dabs, and it was $200 later to find out that she was just really stoned because I rushed her into the puppy ER.
Oh my God, I would have too. I would have died.
I was panicking. I didn't know what she had gotten into, and she was not acting normal at all.
Clearly.
So I rushed her into the puppy ER, and they were like, so what does she have access to? And I started listing off medications that we had in the house, and the vet was like, well, how about cannabis? And I was like, oh yeah, there's cannabis at the house. Because she tested positive, and I was like, oh my God. So I get a call the next day from the vet, and they were like, so we're just checking on Zag. And I was like, she's fine. We just stayed up all night and ate Cheetos and watched SpongeBob.
Zag, how was it? Did you approve? She is the most chill, laid-back dog. By the way, you can follow Zag online.
On Facebook.
On the old Facebook, the Book of Faces, and the Book of Puppy Faces.
Puppy Faces.
Just look up Nomadic Zag.
Nomadic Zag, because she was stolen from me years and years ago. She was in training to be a service dog, and someone stole her from Hot Springs, and we used that Facebook page to help bring her home. She came home. You can see our reunion video on that. You can see my tears, like, oh, my dog. Kind of went viral. So, yeah, go check it out.
She's wonderful. Don Leo said Zag is adorbs. She knows it, Dawn. Trust and believe she knows it. Dawn says, my cats like my weed, but I won't blow it in their faces. Yeah, I don't do that either. Actually, I had a cat. You got it there? You got it? We got to take you to the vet. I had a cat named Scurvy. And scurvy is what we used to call like dirt weed back in the day, which is kind of why I named him that. I bought him on a Friday accidentally. I actually went into a pet store to buy a gerbil for my snake. I know you guys probably don't like hearing that, circle of life. So I go in to buy this gerbil for my snake, and I saw this adorable orange and white tabby, and I decided I wanted him instead. So then I proceeded to buy the cat, get in the car with the people that I used to. Oh, wait, we don't do those things in vehicles. And then we drove somewhere. Then we drove somewhere to sit in a box and smoke in a box without wheels together. Anyway, the cat was totally in love with weed from there on out. It lived somewhere else for like 3 years, and when I came to pick it up, it heard the bag open and came like rushing on up, like all excited.
Is that catnip?
Is that catnip?
I don't even like giving my cats catnip. I really don't, because the consent thing, like, they can't consent.
Well, yeah, they don't know the harm reduction part, right?
Right.
Like, they just know this stuff smells good, and it makes you wonder, do they even acknowledge that it's going to make them feel loopy?
Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know, so I don't do it.
I know catnip doesn't work on kittens.
I know it doesn't work on me either.
Did you... Guilty of trying to smoke catnip in high school.
You're joking.
I'm not joking.
Did someone sell it to you saying it was weed, or did you just go, what's this do to me?
It was me and Chrissy, and we didn't have weed, and we were like, is it gonna work? The answer was no. The answer was no. However, catnip tea is amazing for your GI issues, for anybody who's watching. So if you got like a little tea egg, you throw some catnip in there with all the other tea shit that you make. It's really good for you, which is awesome.
Interesting.
Oh, Michaela's watching.
Michaela! That's a cool name.
I know. She's a cool lady. I met her at Plants Over Pills rally. Or no, End Pain Not Lives. In DC, gosh, 2-3 years ago. Time is flying. But talk about warrior mode. God bless you, Michaela. God bless you.
Easter bless you.
Easter bless you. Easter bless you. Look what Jesus did. Look what Jesus did. Oh, do you want to do headlines?
Headlines brought to you by G.I. Mary Jane. And go.
And Zig.
Ugh.
I gotta get to the right email here, because there's not. So my daily routine up until all this crap happened is I'd wake up, I'd look at the drug news headlines, and then I'd head on over to platoon420.com, and I would rewrite the headlines in a more realistic way, because you don't get arrested, you get kidnapped. There's not jail time, it's a hostage situation. We've all been there. So
not bail, it's a ransom.
Exactly. It's not a raid, it's an unauthorized entry, and generally robbery, which includes destruction of property, threats of violence, all sorts of things that if you weren't wearing a badge and you did to another peaceful person, you would get like 20 years in jail for. Maybe. I don't know. I think murder holds a lower sentence than cannabis in some states.
Yeah.
Literally.
In fact, raping a kid in some states, you get 5 to 10 years, and there's people in prison for life for a plant. For a plant.
But no, there hasn't been a lot of headlines since all this stuff started going down. We talked about the guy who got arrested in Canada 2 days ago. He was bringing cannabis and tobacco across the border, and they just painted him out to be a criminal as normal. But there's not a lot today. I'm reading down coronavirus spurs massive shift in alcohol supply chain not seen since Prohibition. It's going to be dangerous. Just, I don't know. Prohibition didn't work on alcohol. Clearly didn't work on weed. I don't think less people are smoking crack because it's illegal. And now that everybody's panicked, the alcohol supply is dwindling. And like Don Leo said, everybody's got their vices. If your vice is alcohol, like withdrawal from alcohol is super, super, super dangerous.
Yeah, right? It's one of the few substances that you can be addicted to and then stop and die from it.
Yeah. Like your liver will shut down if it's so used to having that chemical in it.
Benzos are another one that can do that as well. Part of that harm reduction that we all would like to focus on too is how are you going to keep yourself safe?
The Texan reports that district court issues temporary restraining order halting prohibition on violent felon release. What is that all about?
What was that news out of Virginia you wanted to tell everyone about?
Oh, the news out of Virginia. Hold on, let me go to I did post this on my page, so if anybody wants to see, this was reported by the awesome folks with National Normal. That's NORML. Forget the A. It's not important. We smoke weed. No, the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws, which has been around since 1971 or 2, I believe. Keith Stroop has done some amazing things to get us where we are right now. And there's still a whole lot more to do, you guys. And I feel like this pandemic could be our black swan for legalization on a federal level. Because if they are deeming, if all these states are deeming cannabis industries as essential, it's a good argument. It's a good arguing point. To like you said it, if weed's okay in time of emergency, how could it not be?
Right. I mean, we're in a crisis, and the government is saying this is an essential product that the people they have to have access to. In a crisis, we need access to cannabis. So when the crisis is over, you can use their decision against them to make sure that we can end this prohibition.
Yeah.
But your voice matters, so use it.
I can't find the article. Oh, boo. Well, anyway, in better news, it is a pandemic, and I guess maybe that helped the Virginia groups and lobbying organizations and activists push this through. I mean, I have a guess that it might have been helpful in the back offices, but a lot of bills have been passed in. Oh, you pulled it up on Weed Maps. You want to go ahead?
Fancy. So this is on Weed Maps. It was published 5 hours ago by Kyle Yeager. Cool.
Kyle Yeager does awesome
reporting. The
reporting.
governor of Virginia announced on Saturday that he approved a bill to decriminalize marijuana possession in the state. So it's no longer a crime to have marijuana in Virginia. The legislation, which would make possessing up to 1 ounce of cannabis punishable by a $25 fine with no threat of jail time, no criminal record, was passed in the legislature and transmitted to the governor's desk in March. So $25 fine. If you have an ounce, it's a $25 fine. I bet you they still take it.
They probably do still compensate.
You know, that's a risk I'm willing to take. $25, that's less than I paid for it.
For now, it's a risk I'm willing to take, but I'm not willing to settle for it. So great steps forward, not there yet.
Prior, Virginia law made simple possession punishable by a maximum of a $500 fine, up to 30 days as a hostage in their jail, and a criminal record. Which, if you ask me, a criminal record, like, anyone can do a background check, and that affects everything in your life forever, right? Like, your landlord can do a background check, your boss can do a background check. You're forever punished. Forever. For a misdemeanor? How is that not cruel and unusual punishment? Yeah, how is that not? Explain it to me if you can.
That takes away all the things we were taught in kindergarten about how, you know, if you mess up, pick up and move back forward. Because
pick yourself up by the bootstraps.
They don't let you do it anymore.
No, they don't. So Governor Ralph Northman approved the legislation with no public signing ceremony amid the coronavirus outbreak, but he's consistently expressed support for decriminalizing and included a call for the policy change in his State of the Commonwealth address in January. So he's been pushing for this for a while. Well done, Governor. It's nice to see that some of our representatives are listening. Mm-hmm. And if you want your voice to be heard, message your representatives. Start local. Start with your local representatives and build yourself up to the state and federal ones. Posted by the governor, as we decriminalize simple possession of marijuana and seal the records of prior convictions. That's cool. Sorry, my inverter's yelling at me.
Marijuana will self-destruct in 5, 4, no.
So they're going to be expunging and sealing records of past convictions for simple possession in Virginia, taking away landlords and employers' ability to see that you've had this ridiculous charge. I am proposing a study to assess the impact of fully legalizing marijuana in the Commonwealth. Well, the studies are done, Governor. I mean, maybe it's different in Virginia than all the other states that have done it, but the studies are done. You can see what other states have done, the mistakes and successes they made, and try to mirror that. It seems simple to me.
2/3 of the country actually have some level of legalization. 2/3. So in a democracy, that's majority rule, right?
I think that's majority rule, yeah.
I don't know how that only works with an election and not with states' rights. So isn't that fun?
Every Virginian deserves access to a fair and equitable criminal justice system.
Duh.
These bills combat mass incarceration, increase support for returning citizens, and ensure that those who have paid their debt to society have a meaningful second chance. This is a good step in the right direction.
It really is. And I like the second chance thing because you guys, it's like we need each other, right? Like you need everybody in your community to be able to function at their fullest potential. And if somebody in your community had a bad night, let's just say got a DUI, right? Let's not even go down the marijuana route, right? You got a DUI because you had a bad night. Maybe you weren't even driving bad. Maybe you just had a tail light out and you happen to blow above that number because somehow they can do a non-doctor can do a health-related check on you on the side of the road here in this,
law enforcement
country, which is weird. But let's say, and then that person can never get a job again. Now your neighbor, right, is getting ready to get evicted, which brings your home's value down, which, you know, maybe he loses his mind and just doesn't have any support and he can't get a job and it just makes him go absolutely killdozer.
Some heroes don't wear capes. They make killdozers.
Here to killdozer. But no, awesome steps in the right direction in Virginia. And this one hits me personally. I know you know. But I've got a Virginia State Custody Court that for years has told me because I'm a legal cannabis patient in now 3 different states that I've lived in, that makes me a danger to my child somehow. And therefore I must be supervised while in his presence. And unfortunately, it's not that easy with other parties involved. You know, but I actually took cupcakes to my kid's school one day and was arrested leaving after spending an hour of joyous lunch and recess time with all these wonderful little second graders and cupcakes and happiness. And I walked out of the school and I turned a corner and I was illegally pulled over and I was cited for the legal Maryland medical cannabis that I had on me, which totaled less than 2 grams. Thankfully, I was let off for those charges, but they didn't want to let me off. They didn't. It was one of these deals, prosecutor come back in and out of the room a million times, and finally it's like, oh, we're going to, I'm like, nope, with all due respect, I'm going to request a jury trial unless this gets dropped. And finally they rolled their eyes and dropped it, which kind of made me even more angry because it's that easy to make a call on somebody's entire life, because that charge would have affected me forever. Absolutely forever. And when they charge you, it just says that you're charged with a controlled substance. It doesn't say what. So when people do a background check, they could assume that that's a hard drug or just weed or whatever. And it does. It causes a discriminating sense. So July 1st is the day that all this stuff goes into effect. And I think I might take a trip to Virginia and hug a beautiful little 10-year-old around July. I'm
get your medical
excited.
card.
I'm pretty excited. Yay. Any comments to catch up on?
Dawn says baby steps, but at least steps. Let's go, Maryland. I agree, Zag. Dawn, you're rad. Look at Zag, so cute. Glenn says, come, y'all, call it what it is, cannabis. Yeah, I mean, it's cannabis, but, you know, we call alcohol booze, and it's called alcohol. I think that you use a slang or it doesn't matter what you call it, because it's not, I mean, we're not scientists.
Yes, marijuana was originally a racist term, okay? It was originally made to connect the dangerous cannabis with the Mexican population back in 1930-ish. Yeah, I get that, right? But there's lots of words that started negatively. And you know what overcoming and not being a victim is? Owning that shit and taking it and making it your own instead of what they intended.
I like calling it weed.
I call it
cannabis too, because that's what it is. But
pot, ganja, it doesn't matter.
I mean, we have a lot of music. Pass the marijuana. You're not. I mean, we're not going, hey, no, pass the cannabis. No, we say pass the marijuana.
We need to keep marijuana, if nothing more than for music, because it works. It works. But yes, Glenn, good point to bring up. Cannabis is the actual term, not marijuana. But I like that fun word. And
I say marijuana because I speak American.
I am G.I. Mary Jane, and Mary Jane is a something that
nope, you're GI cannabis now.
I've got to be GI cannabis now. I can't do it. I can't do it.
GI tetrahydrocannabinol.
I like that. GI THC.
Oh, you need a pet.
Oh.
You need a cat that you can call GI THC.
I do. Actually, I'm thinking of legally changing my name to GI Mary Jane, or lawfully changing my name to GI Mary Jane.
I would do it.
The government, right? I think I'm actually going to do it. I think, I'm getting a lot of laws. I think that means yes. I think that means yes. Yeah. So speaking of owning it, I'm going to own it.
Yeah.
I'm going to own it.
I'm going to make my name Zig. Just to make them call me that.
Yeah. You have to call me that, government, just because you don't like it. It's wonderful.
I won't tell you what my real name is. Shh, it's a secret.
Jeff Mackey tuned back in. Max says, I actually call it medicine, something I really need in my life. And, you know, I can relate to that. Some people watching can't. They use it for recreational purposes, and that's all good. I don't give a shit why you're using it. That's your body. It's your choice. You do it for whatever reason you want. Just don't fuck with mine or me or mine while you're on something. And if you do, don't blame it on the substance in your body. Blame it on your bad decision making. So yeah, I agree with that. Oh, and by the way, for those of you just tuning in, Max, who are awesome neighbor here at the Garden of Freedom, and he says that if y'all throw 5 on it today, we can shave a mohawk in his head tomorrow.
And we will put it online for you to watch.
Mac, you should come on over. Come on over if you read this. It says, trying to figure out why I got 2 different thumbnails for your live stream. That's a good question. Probably because Zuckerberg needs to smoke more weed. You know, for focus.
For focus.
For focus. Focus. Listen. Yeah, Mac, come on over and sit with us. We've got to be careful with this.
Yeah, come smoke this bowl with us because we don't have much and we know you're low too.
Speaking of, so what, like about a month and a half ago, I decided to shave
a third,
a half, whatever. I'm never as good at fractions.
I measured it. It's 0.33372% of your hair.
And I did that live on Facebook, and I alluded to auctioning off the braid that's full of all of the energy of rallies and lobby days.
That's where you did acid.
That's right. There's where I did acid. Down here was like Lobby Day 2017.
You could put a rubber band of different colors with a sheet labeled, here's what I did that day.
You know, but then everybody got into hard times, and you know, I wasn't going to go there. But you guys, this braid is still open to the highest bidder. I don't know how we're going to do that. In fact, anybody, if you want to comment, we'll start the bidding at $50. And if we can get $150, I'll get rid of the other side too. I'll
tell you right now, that is quality hair to make a voodoo doll out of. I was going to do it.
Don't clone me. And if you do, at least let me visit my clone unsupervised, because I'm not a dangerous mom. No, but you guys, the PayPal and Cash App links are down there. Things have been slow in my life. You'll notice the GIMaryJane.com has disappeared. I think Platoon 420 is up for about another month if it hasn't gone away already. But this shutdown, especially in the activism community, because we work completely off of donations, as you know, our lives are spent doing things for our community. You know, it's been shut down. People aren't buying the coffee anymore. People aren't buying the t-shirts anymore. And I totally understand. And I am also not complaining, because I am as comfortable can be right now. A little bit nervous about this situation, but the universe always seems to provide. So I'm not going to worry about it. But yeah, shoot me a comment if you think you're interested in this braid here. I don't know what it's all crooked and stuff. I need to iron it out or something. Can we pin it back on?
I wonder how much THC is actually in that. Could we get a hot press and squeeze out some dabs?
That's a good question. Like that joke, you're gonna smoke Willie Nelson's ashes. Oh, I think Mac's here. That means that we got to do some scooching.
We're gonna scooch.
We're gonna scooch. We're going to scooch. Oh, and I also have, for anybody who is willing to contribute, well, not for anybody, for 1, 2, 3, 4, for 5 people who are willing to contribute $10 to towards all of this outreach, towards helping us get things ready at the Garden of Freedom, which will be a self-sustaining community for all. Anybody who has 10 to throw down will get one of these awesome weed charms here. And Mac is finally visiting, just like the one that I wear on my neck.
Need a mohawk, everybody.
I know.
Yeah, we're going to shave a mohawk into him if anyone donates.
I can't believe that you actually said that, Mac. I'm so excited.
Yeah, that'd be cool, huh?
Now I feel challenged.
Challenge accepted.
I challenge all you.
Glenn asked what kind of dog I got. So Zag, I'm Zig. She is Zag. Zag is a half Chihuahua, half Jack Russell.
Good boy.
She's a girl. Mac hasn't figured that out yet.
Don't assume your dog's gender.
Did you just assume my dog's gender?
No.
Huh?
It's not a date.
She was born in Slab City, California in November, 4 years ago. And she's been nomading with me ever since. She actually has probably more miles under her belt than a lot of people I know. So.
I agree. Glenn says that he's in California.
You're in California. Heck yeah.
What part?
You let us know where you're at. I have traveled all up and down.
I'm from California.
Yeah, that state. So.
Are you from California? Born and raised?
Born and raised near Pasadena, California.
Pasadena.
Ooh, fancy.
Super fancy.
Fancy. How about you?
So I was born in Huntington Beach, but I don't claim to be a Californian because I moved to Oregon when I was before I was even a teenager and was essentially raised there. So I like to call myself an Oregonian.
Oregonian? Is that what they're called?
Yes. He's in the Bay Area. Oh, man. So you're definitely not allowed to go outside right now, are you?
Don't you dare.
We're at in the Bay Area because I got this tattoo right here in Petaluma. It's got my father's ashes in it, actually.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
So we were going to talk about harm reduction.
Yeah, we started to, and then we kind of skipped off.
We digressed.
We did. I don't know, Mac, did you go through that in school? Like all the DARE programs and the scary, drugs are going to kill you, pot's going to kill you.
That was after my time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you didn't actually go through all the...
I graduated in the early 80s.
In the early 80s. So that's when I was born.
Disco, people, disco.
I dig disco. I can dig disco.
Yeah,
it was a generational thing. I think it only lasted for 10 years. DARE's still around, but from what I understand, they're teaching harm reduction now.
Which is a good thing. I think that it's important to understand that drugs are, for better or for worse, a part of our world. They're here, they exist, and you can either demonize the people and condemn them who use it, who consent to putting these things in their body, or you can accept the fact that they exist. And, I feel like those are your two options. Either you can add hate to those people, or you can just accept the fact that some people do things that you don't necessarily agree with, and you're not going to do. I think it's just really complex, right? You can't just say everyone who does drugs is bad, because they're not.
They're not, no. And that goes for any substance. I'm sure there's a functioning user of everything out there. It all comes down to what's good for your body, and having the education and wherewithal and the good community, the good network of people to be able to check yourself no matter what you're doing. Shit, I know people that are addicted to shopping that legitimately spend all their money on shit, on nothing. They're not even buying anything of value. They're just getting shit like doilies and rugs and shit, right? And they get evicted because of it. That's really a thing.
We have hoarders who will collect junk and live in filth until their homes are condemned and they're jeopardizing their health. And what do? We send out shrinks and counselors to help them get through this addiction that they have. But if it's a chemical that they're putting into their body, choosing to put in their body, we condemn them. We don't send them shrinks. In fact, we send them to jail. Imagine if we sent hoarders to jail.
It's the same issue. It's a side effect of an underlying mental health concern.
Imagine if the police walked into casinos arresting everybody that gambles because they're addicted to gambling. That's what we're doing to addicts who put chemicals in their bodies.
We really need to fight this with compassion, not condemnation.
You know what's going to help people get sober? Because some of these addicts do want to get sober because it's not healthy for them. You know what helps the most is a non-judgmental environment that encourages you to get healthy. Do you think that's jail? I don't think that's jail. You know what I learned in jail? Everything I need to know about doing drugs.
Yeah.
I didn't learn to get sober in jail. I learned where to get drugs from.
I never knew where to find heroin, and then when I got out of jail, man, I could have probably walked to the edge of the freaking street there, and found it. And you do, and a lot of people fall into these traps in jail where they're scared, so they're blending in with people who may be criminals, like maybe they're users and thieves. Okay, they convince you that you should buy from them, and they pressure you, and it's like that pressure that they lied to us about on the DARE classes. That happens, but not on the streets. It happens in county lockups all across the country. And then you've got somebody who, say, gets a DUI, right? They just had too much alcohol one night, and they end up doing 30 days in there with somebody who maybe, ripped off a Walmart and has connections to, the biggest drug dealer in town, right? Not the good drug dealer, the drug dealer that's trying to make money, not trying to take care of people who are in need. And you make a promise to this guy. It's a small town. You get out of jail. He sees you at the 7-Eleven. He's going to expect you to buy that bag you promised you'd buy from him in jail, even though you were just saying it to pass through the conversation. So it does. It actually puts people in dangerous situations when they otherwise
wouldn't be in one.
Wouldn't be in one at all.
And so I got my bachelor's in psychology, and the studies show, without a doubt, that there are safe injection sites all over the country now. A lot of people are like pretty anti these safe injection sites. I am absolutely pro safe injection sites because these addicts get to walk in to these places and see medical staff, nurses, doctors that test their drug to tell them, hey, if it's heroin, they'd be like, okay, it's X amount heroin, opiates, and X amount fentanyl, because some addicts actually do kind of prefer fentanyl. And then they recommend a dosage that you should take in order to not harm yourself, in order to and if you look at the studies, the people that use these safe injection sites have a higher rate of getting sober than the places that these injection sites don't. It also lowers OD rates also. So people aren't actually dying as much from their illicit substance. So as far as harm reduction goes, start with just not judging these people.
You don't know what they're going through.
And yes, I'm not going to say that drugs are healthy for you because nothing's healthy. Too much of anything is a bad thing. But at the very least, if you want these people to reintegrate into your neighborhood, into your society, because they're here, whether you like it or not, they're your neighbors. If you want it to be a successful reintegration, it's going to start by a community that accepts them back into it. Yeah, completely. And with the way that the world is right now, that just doesn't happen very often, unfortunately.
No, and I don't know. I see a lot of people live feeding now that otherwise wouldn't, because they're looking for interaction, and I think that's great. And I think what it's going to do is it's going to give us an insight to the actual everyday Americans or humans life, right? And maybe through that there'll be a little less judgment. I mean, look, we're sitting here, we're in an RV, we've got curtains that aren't great, there's no big fancy studio, but who cares? It's real, it's raw, right? And I'm seeing that people spinning records in their room that's just absolutely filthy to my Virgo standards, but I don't care, I don't judge, right? I think it's going to be awesome. I think so much of us were raised watching the idiot box, watching TV and seeing all these fake Hollywood studios with, the top of the line electronics in the house and everything's nice. And then you get this kind of inferiority complex thinking that you aren't as good as everybody else, when in all actuality, there's 2% of the population living by the standards that they show in these sitcoms that I at least grew up on. Until Roseanne, that's why I dug Roseanne.
Married with Children.
And Married with Children, yeah, totally real, not some 90210 Hollywood.
How perfect can we make life?
We are perfect. And the Kardashians are trying to do it again. And good Lord knows that people are actually taking that bait. I'm not really sure why. But just like I'm not going to judge a substance addict, I'm not going to judge the Kardashians or their fans. You do you, boo.
So Mac has a YouTube presence. Sure he has over 1,000 subscribers. So go ahead and plug your YouTube if you'd like.
It's Mad Mac MADMAC 91775 is how you can find it, and the screen name is Mad Mac and was it Mac and Cheese and Mr. Piglet.
So Mad Mac, MADMAC 91775. Go to his YouTube, hit subscribe.
I just hit 1,100 subscribers.
Wow, man, that happened fast. You went from 1,000 to another 100.
I went from 920. I used to live in Slab City. It's like a third world country, kind of off grid. If you want to learn to live off grid and hardcore, that's the place to go, I think, for me. But after I left there, I gained 200 something subscribers. You know, they like to see me travel.
Yeah, traveling is great.
Yeah, man, it is. It's wonderful.
I've been traveling full time now for 6 years, and I don't know how to stop. I really don't.
Traveling and wake and bakes, man. That's what I do.
Right?
I don't do wake and bake. I don't. I just don't. I don't want to grow dreadlocks, and I think that's how you do it.
It is.
I have to wake and bake, or I'll never get out of the house.
Yeah.
I'm going to not get any more graphic than that. But Crohn's disease is a bitch without cannabis.
Well, cannabis, without cannabis, I lock myself in my motorhome. It does help me with my anxiety and all that. And when I don't have it, it's bad. But
see, everybody uses it for something different, and they use it in different doses.
Well, I used to be on 17 pills for depression and
17
stuff.
pills,
different from nighttime and from morning time, afternoon. And
how many
nighttime.
of those pills were to help with side effects of other pills?
A lot.
Right, so they give you a pill.
They gave me a pill. It helps stop another pill from giving me seizures.
Mm-hmm.
Or, and then I'd have to have blood tests every 6 months because of my liver. And I talked to one of my doctors, and now I'm on hardly anything but the marijuana, which really helps. And it made me more social.
Right.
Laying in bed for 17 hours a day.
And I would assume that led on to being more productive generally.
Oh, definitely,
things, yeah?
definitely, yeah.
And you can follow his story for the last year or so, his breaking through this anxiety barrier, the social anxiety he's had. You can watch him go through the entire process if you so want on his YouTube. So.
I've been doing it constantly every day for about a year and a half, YouTube.
And if you donate, if you've got 5 on it for G.I. Mary Jane, we will put a mohawk on this old man tomorrow or the next day
almost
on
60.
live.
And it's not for G.I. Mary Jane. It's for the Garden of Freedom. It's for the camp here. I mean, we have it settled.
My mistake. I'm high.
It's okay. It's okay. Well, it would, you were right, because that's where it would be going to. But anything that I get, anything that anybody here in our community, the Garden of Freedom, gets, we help each other out. We're not here to just live separately. We live separately, yet united.
We cooperate, not cohabitate.
That's what's so amazing with the nomad community and these communities I've met. I've had more support with the nomad community and people I've met traveling than I have with my own family for years.
That's amazing.
And it's true. There's so many people out there with good hearts. And I've been running into a lot of them lately, and it's a blessing.
So, Becky, I assume that you're talking about your medications. She says she's off 3 of hers so far. Off 3 of her medications. I assume it's because you switched to cannabis. But that's awesome, because I'm not going to say there's not an appropriate time for chemical medications, because there is an appropriate time for chemical medications. But I will say the doctors cannot say we encourage you to smoke weed, because it's still Schedule 1. They're not legally allowed to do that. So you got to take that responsibility on for yourself, and then communicate that with your physician. If you have some sort of medication that you take, communicate it with them. Like, I am using cannabis. It's not, I don't think I need these other medications anymore. It's helping me with X, Y, and Z. And then figure out a way to, because some medications you can't just stop cold turkey. You've got to wean yourself off. So make sure you communicate with your healthcare professional if that is a choice that you make.
They did wean me off
part of
my
that
medicines.
And that's part of the harm reduction that we're talking
and
about. We have to normalize
safe injection sites too, because if you lock somebody up who's been doing heroin for fucking 5 years, right, and they just stop doing heroin, there's a good chance that their livers are going to shut down, that they will die. Okay. A jail does not have the medical know-how to understand the processes it takes to wean somebody off pharmaceuticals Well, guess what? They don't have the medical know-how to have the wherewithal to wean somebody off of recreational drugs too. Because I hate that. The same drugs on the street are the ones in the pharmacy. I mean, really, at the end of the day, they're just stronger. They're different forms of.
They're less pure.
They're less pure. And if there were a legal market, you know, somebody who wanted heroin could just go get heroin and not get something that's cut with God knows what else. Fentanyl.
Oh, yeah. There's some bad stuff out there right
bleach. There's some crap I heard about called like crocodilla, where like it's something they're putting in heroin. You should look it up. Heroin. Google heroin and start with croc. I bet it'll come right up. It's something that they put in this stuff. And why these street dealers do this is beyond me. And I've met people that this has happened to. So this is not just hearsay. There was a girl I met who looked like her arms were burnt up completely, just her forearms. And I assumed that, like, it looked, I didn't ask her, right? That's a personal thing.
Yeah.
But I assumed that it looked like maybe some hot oil spilled on her because her hands were fine. It was just her forearms. I thought, you know, maybe she's working at like a McDonald's or something and something flipped. But finally she mentioned it. She got this bad heroin with this croco, whatever the hell it's called.
Crock of shit.
Crock of shit in it, okay? Yep. And it burns your skin from the inside out after you inject it. It burns your fucking skin from the inside out after you inject it. And leaves these burns that, like I said, just look like hot oil burns or like somebody took an iron to her freaking arm or something. You've seen somebody.
Again, why safe injection sites are so important, because then you can have your substances tested and tell you what's in it, and then you can consent to putting that in your body.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't want safe injection sites, here's a good way to not need them. Just decriminalize drugs.
Right.
Just say perhaps to drugs. Why perhaps? Because it's your choice.
If we decrimmed all drugs, then that would take all the success away from the cartels, because they're making a lot of money harming people with unsafe and untested drugs. It would also make it like cannabis now. We buy cannabis from a dispensary and it's tested. You can see what's in it. You can see when it was cultivated. You can see about how long it cured for, everything. It's all there. And then you get to consent to what you're putting in your body. Cassie says, come on, Kansas. She's talking about legalization, I assume. So speaking of Kansas, I just saw that comment and I wanted to look up their marijuana laws, their cannabis laws. And I'm going to just read them to you. Possession of marijuana is a Class B misdemeanor, punishable by a maximum of 6 months. It says imprisonment, but it's not. It's illegal imprisonment, and they hold you for a ransom, too.
6 fucking months.
A maximum ransom of $1,000 for a first-time offense. Second-time offense is a Class A misdemeanor. I always thought getting A's in school is a good thing.
Right? What the hell?
There is a rebuttal presumption of intent to distribute if possession is 450 grams or more, which is a level 5 felony punishable by a fine not to exceed $100,000, which is a crazy amount of money, and imprisonment for 10 months to 42 months. So, Cassie, if you want to change that in your state, I recommend you getting in touch with NORML in Kansas. Write your congressman, write all of your local and state and federal representatives, and let them know that you, as a constituent, want to decriminalize cannabis.
Hold on, I just looked up the Kansas law on theft. I'm curious. To the difference between, let's see, in Kansas, the severity of the theft depends on the value of stolen. If the value is over $1,000, it's a felony charge, punishable by 1 year.
Unless you wear a badge, so they can come in and take your property, your $1,000 plus inventory of marijuana, imprison you, and not get charged with this crime.
Wait, it says here, holy shit, it says here that theft is pretty much legal in Kansas. You want to know why?
Why?
It says theft of property of the value of at least $25,000, but less than $100,000 is a severity level 7 and non-person felony.
So it's actually more of a crime to not victimize anyone and grow plants than it is to victimize someone and steal their property.
So you can rob your neighbor for less than $1,000 or less than $25,000, And as long as whatever you steal from your neighbor, I am not condoning stealing. That is fucked up. Don't do that shit.
Nope.
But in Kansas, if you steal something from your neighbor and its value is less than $25,000, I'm not sure if I have anything worth $25,000 in my. Do you have
sure
something
don't.
worth? Okay, maybe if it's less, so you can go steal their Xbox and
You're fine.
You're fine.
Don't worry about it. You can even leave a note. Hey, I stole this.
You're fine. I think the only thing that you can do in recourse is have the money replaced, which that's good. That should be a first step. But no punishment to somebody who is actually violating somebody else's.
They're creating a victim.
They're creating a victim. And they get no punishment other than returning the property. So basically the government's like, oh, you stole that guy's $4,000 Civic, right? So since it's under $25,000, you just have to give him the $4,000 value of his Civic. But the value of that guy's Civic is getting him to work, putting food on his family's table. Da-da-da-da-da. He became a victim. And in Kansas, and this is on KansasCriminalDefenseLaw.com. There's a dash between each one. I'll post that link right here, right now. Yeah, that's messed up. You go to jail and you get punished for choosing what to put in your body in Kansas.
But not for victimizing somebody.
But not for victimizing.
Ernesto, I am not pronouncing your last name because I will. All right, I'm going to try. Civico. Probably not. He asked, is it legal to purchase cannabis in Arizona yet? Yes. But there's a caveat. You can purchase medical marijuana, and there are dispensaries in Arizona. So you'd have to be a patient. You'd have to get a permission slip from the government. Also,
pay for a permission slip.
You have to pay for a permission slip from the government. Also, if you live 25 miles or more from a dispensary and you already are a patient, you already have that permission slip, you have to get a second permission slip in order to cultivate, in order to grow your own medicine. So,
and then there are limits on that. And if you go over the limits, instead of sending you a cease and desist letter in the mail like they would with any other produce that's being grown outside of federal regulations, they're going to send men with guns and tanks and dogs to threaten your life and your safety and break in your door because you're out of regulatory guidelines.
So yeah, that is Arizona's laws. However, it is not legal in Arizona to purchase if it's recreational. That's a crime, apparently. So
yet. Arizona does respect the patients, out-of-state patients, but only in the sense that they will not arrest them for being in possession. But I don't know. And again, I think that depends on the cop on the side of the road and whether he got laid the night before, right? I mean, is he pissed off enough to confiscate your shit, or does he let you leave the scene with it? You know?
So much of the laws written nationwide are up to the discretion of the police officer that pulled you over. So they say, like, they're not a judge and a jury or an executioner. However, if they, like, can decide to just take your property and then send you on your way with a warning, doesn't that make them
judge, jury, and executioner?
Judge, jury, and I mean, doesn't it? Come on now.
It really does. You can fight to get your property back, but unless it's over a certain amount of money, it's not even worth your time, effort, or your dollars to get your property back. Like there's a procedure you have to go through and jump through so many hoops. It happened to me. I was pulled over in Maryland, and they told me my medical card was fake, which is hilarious because this thing is more like legit than my license. You know what I'm saying? Like it's less, you know, you can't copy this thing, okay? And the bag was clearly labeled, and I get pulled over, and the cop confiscated it at the scene. I go to court. It gets thrown out. I walk over to get my property back, and they're like, "It's destroyed. We destroy it when we get back." Well, wait a minute. So you decided that this was illegal before it was deemed illegal by a judge, who's the only person who can deem it illegal.
There's Becky Jean. Hey, Becky.
And you threw it away. What's up, Becky?
Becky we're in Lake Havasu with.
Oh.
She said, I know that you can grow in D.C. How about Maryland?
Maryland does not have any grow laws, and there's been a lot of people fighting this, and coming directly from, you know, Maryland Normal and working a few years in that particular state for legalization. There's an argument here. Okay, so hear me out. You're a patient, okay? You're a legal Maryland patient. You paid your doctor $200. Paid the state of Maryland $50. Now you're allowed to go purchase cannabis at a dispensary. You're allowed to purchase up to 4 ounces of cannabis at a dispensary in Maryland as a patient. per month for a 30-day rolling cycle, unless your doctor gives you special clearance for more cannabis in cases of extreme or chronic illness. Now, you get home with your cannabis and you find a seed in it.
Score.
Okay? You find a seed in your legally purchased cannabis. Now, when you buy your cannabis, because in Maryland, edibles are legal now, but they weren't legal. However, a patient was allowed to buy their weed and come home and cook it into edibles. You just couldn't buy it from a store. So if you're allowed to do whatever you please, except for distribute, with your medicine that you legally obtain, why can't you put that seed in soil? So that was the big argument in Maryland. I know it's still going on. Reach out to Maryland Normal. There are a lot of actionable folks working with that organization. Luke Jones, for one of them. I think a lot of the people that I worked with in the past have not moved on, but you know, it's about Normal's a 100% volunteer organization. Nobody gets paid in Normal. It's not a thing.
Volunteer.
100% volunteer, and we spend thousands and thousands and thousands of hours getting shit done.
The unsung heroes of the country.
Shit done. And you can be one of those people, and you don't even have to leave your house to do it. In fact, you legally can't leave your house to do it. No.
Becky said, "Dang, I missed y'all. Do you mind if I post the link in Mrs. Green Jeans?" Yeah, do share. So we met Becky when we were traveling through Lake Havasu, and she camped with us for a little while, and then she moved on. Before all the craziness started, I mean, it had started a little bit, but it's kind of gotten worse over the last few weeks. She went to go visit one of her kids, so it was a great experience meeting you, Becky. We hope to see you again. You should come visit at the Garden of Freedom.
The Garden of Freedom. Oh, speaking of the Garden of Freedom,
she's talked about coming here, so we'll see. Maybe in the future.
We now have a Facebook page for the Garden of Freedom, so if you guys want to see how awesome it is here as we build this up. This is a geodesic dome property that will be and is not at the moment because for a long time Adam was out on the Freedom Book Tour for most of 2016 and 17. And then 2018 he entered his name for presidential candidate for the Libertarian Party and has been out on the road ever since. Well, one of the bittersweet side effects of Corona is now we all get to stay put and focus on building up this property, which one day we hope will be a safe haven for, you know, people who just want to live off the land in a group of like-minded folks. So I'm going to put a link to the Garden of Freedom. We're going on an hour. Should we just keep going? I mean,
we just did pack this bowl.
We did. You guys hit the love, and we also should keep going.
And remember, you gotta donate to these people so I can get my mohawk.
Yeah, we're gonna cut a mohawk into him if anyone donates today to Garden of Freedom. So
you guys get over $100 to these guys, I'll dye it blue.
Oh, stop!
Oh, I've seen that too. Was it pink or was it blue?
It was blue.
It was blue.
I don't do pink, but if you guys donate $500, I'll do pink.
Oh, $500.
I don't do pink. And pink is not my color.
Pink isn't his color. No.
I know a lot of people these days love pink, and it's like the new thing, but not mine.
Real men wear pink. Yeah. So if anyone donates $500, we'll give them a pink mohawk.
I'm saying.
But anything less, it's gonna be a regular mohawk.
Anything over 100, blue.
Anything over 100, we'll do a blue mohawk. All right.
We'll probably get some of my people to donate later.
I can't find. My phone sucks, or Zuckerberg sucks. I can't figure it out.
Can't figure it out on Facebook.
Garden of Freedom, Arizona.
So if anyone looks on Facebook for Garden of Freedom, we'll see if it's live yet. Maybe it's not.
It is. It's very live, and there's like all sorts of likes on it already. Garden of Freedom. Come on, yo.
I'm glad you're smoking out with us, Becky.
Yeah,
Becky, it's so good
I missed you at
to
the
talk to you
campfire,
again.
smoking out with you, having a good time. That shit was fun.
Oh, we're smoking out with y'all. Yeah, and this is cool because I see so many people virtual seshing, and I love that.
And Becky does that on her little thing she's got going on there.
Yeah, Becky, plug your info into the chat if you'd like to.
Man, so it's like okay, here it is. If you go to thegardenofreedom.com, it'll hot link you straight to the Facebook page. How awesome is that? That's good stuff.
That's good, because I'm not finding it on Facebook either.
I found it. I'm putting it. Oh my goodness. Is this different cannabis that we're smoking?
So I switched it up. It's our last bowl that we got. It's called Humboldt Crush. Total cannabinoids, deuce, 0.68%. It's our last little bit. The jar's empty, I swear.
I'm honored you guys smoked. You didn't have to smoke that way.
And it makes me sad.
I appreciate that.
So now we got a glass jar that we could put peanut butter in.
I put a space after dot and com. God damn it,
Copy and paste that without the space.
Yeah, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. Here, hit this. I'm going to fix this. God is my witness. As Jesus who has risen today as my witness.
2020 years ago. So the story goes.
Is there a number? Oh. Ha!
Actually, no, he didn't rise 220 years ago. That's when he was born. So he was what, like 36? I don't know. I'm no Jesus expert.
I think he was 30. He was 33 when he died.
Okay, so we're just like at 1900 and something years.
But did he really die?
I don't know. I wasn't there, man. I don't know. My culture said so.
I read this book about it.
Yep.
The Garden of Freedom, Arizona.
Garden. Here it is.
.com.
Let me make sure it doesn't separate now. I think I did good this time.
Oh, shit.
I think I did good this time. You gonna hit that?
I just did. Here, sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, I think we're gonna wrap it up here in a minute, guys. If you have any other questions, you want to say anything, you want to plug anything. Oh, wait, shameless plug. Today, and I was unable to contribute to this because
Thank you.
I don't go live unless I'm feeling it. I don't video unless I'm feeling it. And unfortunately, I wasn't feeling it. But SDZ.today is hosting a cannabis activist movie night this evening.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they do this once a month. SDZ.today is a social media network built by activists for activists where there is zero censorship. You will never be shut up. Your articles will never be taken down. It's free to join. Works like Facebook, but you have to use it on your browser, much like...
So SDZ today, I brought it up here. It's an online forum similar to Reddit. However, Reddit has an app. They don't. They're doing a movie night.
Cannabis Activist Canademic. World premiere at 8 p.m. Eastern featuring Wendy Love Edge. She is awesome. Mike Wise, Carrie Cannon is amazing. Stacy Thies. Stacy is who connected us with our friend Tom. So she's going to be involved. Bobby Rodrigo, who is my distributor for the War Room. Mary Hemp Shields, who runs Cloverleaf Farms, who provides me with all of the hemp seeds that I provide you all with when you answer an awesome question or make an awesome donation. And Alex Gentry, who is not only a cannabis activist, but a diehard libertarian. Alex, I see you. I see you. The Libertarian Party. Plotting to let you do whatever you want. Since 1971.
Jonathan Stout. What the fuck? Laugh my ass off. Are you guys high?
Hell no.
Duh. Not high enough because
I am.
Alex.
I'm teasing.
Or wait, Jonathan. We would like to be higher.
Help us be higher.
Help me get that mohawk.
Get high.
Yeah, Jonathan, if anyone donates for getting this old man a mohawk, he's pushing 60.
Well, halfway there.
And
halfway between 50 and 60, though.
For anybody interested in a piece of cannabis activist history, the braid. The braid is up, starting at $50. Hit me up in the comments or at Joey at the Freedom Line, JOIE at thefreedomline.com. If you want to email us, and we're all watching. Man, it's been over an hour. Where are we at?
I went 2 hours today on live.
We're at an hour 7 minutes.
Oh, snap. We should
Finish
do
this
like
bowl.
a 4-hour and 20-minute broadcast one day.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do, a 4-hour and 20-minute broadcast the day I hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube.
But we need more weed for that.
We're going to need a lot more weed for that. So
Maybe I'll do that on 420, huh?
Do it.
That'd be cool.
Bet you won't.
Holy
420.
shit.
The longest last time I think I ever did was 3 hours, and that was hard. But 4 hours and 20 minutes special day. We'll see.
That's
Yeah,
incredible.
you guys get to watch us hang out, cook.
Yep. If it's okay with everybody, I'll live stream it from here.
Yeah, man, we should just like Big Brother all day for
our
4
fans.
hours and 20 minutes, right?
Let us know if you want us to do that on 420.
Yes, yeah. Oh,
Gotta be
oh my
cool.
gosh. Oh my gosh. It's blowing up.
Okay, somebody does. All right.
I think we should get on out of here and get some foods, though. What do you think?
I am hungry.
Right on.
Pretty hungry.
I've smoked up an appetite.
I have.
What are you guys going to eat for munchies? Because I think that I'm going to make a breakfast burrito. Oh, no, I'm doing biscuits and gravy today.
Oh.
That's what I'm doing. I made her a promise. Biscuits and sausage gravy.
I'm doing canned tuna.
Yes.
Healthy.
That's what we'll discuss tomorrow. Favorite munchy foods.
Favorite munchie?
Favorite munchy foods. I think cereal's always
I
a
just
good
say it right
go-to.
now, ice cream.
I wish I miss dairy. I miss dairy.
Becky
you go.
said that's what we're doing on the Scream Jeans.
What, discussing munchies?
Smoking out
They
with
smoke
you.
out. They have like a big old smoke out session, and
Oh,
Different
we
people-
should
different
totally
people
bring
can
them
do
in
it.
one of these days.
We can zoom in.
We can all like do this, but have like your split screen and you guys there and us here,
Yay.
and we could hang out because it's 2020 and quarantine
You can
can't
do
stop
that.
me
It's
from
2020,
hanging out
dog.
with friends.
you can do that in Streamlabs, and you don't need 1,000 people.
I can't figure out
Just saying.
Streamlabs, man. If there's a millennial out there that wants to help
He
me,
can help you.
That's how I haven't monetized my channel yet.
Oh my
but,
God.
But that's how I've been doing it.
I'm so far behind. I actually asked my 10-year-old on the phone, like, hey,
I've heard that.
I'm like, dude, what app do I get? He's like, Mom, I don't know. Like, but you're supposed to know. You're 10. How do you not know?
I think there's that one, and there's Vlermo or Vlarmo. There's another one you can do it on. Something
All
like
right.
that.
Max hit.
Max it.
Max hit. Smoke this cracker.
Would you call me a cracker?
Cracker Jack. Help us shave a mohawk on him. We will video it and share it, and also like and share our video, because why the fuck not?
Yeah.
You know,
More than donations.
All
we
it does
like and
is, I mean,
share.
you just have to like touch it and touch it.
We're just here to pass the compassion.
Becky gave me my last mohawk and did a good job.
Becky gave him his last mohawk. I remember that mohawk.
And she's the one that dyed it blue also. Came out nice.
All right. Well, I don't know what I'm gonna dye it blue with, but we will. We'll
Well,
do
maybe,
it.
maybe we'll see.
Something. We'll find something. All right, guys, we're gonna call it a day
Kool-Aid,
now,
baby.
or a feed, at the 1 hour and 10-minute mark.
Thanks for joining.
Thanks for joining. I am Gianna
Nice
Mary
meeting you all.
Jane, the Commander-in-Chief. With me,
Zig.
as generally lately, is Zig. Zag is hanging out behind my bum right now, and good old Mac. And we are reminding you to pass joints, not
AKA
judgment.
Mad Mac.
Mad Mac.
There we go.
91775.
91775. Up, down, left, right, B-A, select, start. Pass joints, not
What else you
judgments,
said?
guys. We are all in this together, and we are all each other's gods. Oh, and also, say perhaps
Say perhaps.
to drugs.
What's in it?
Peace out.